Hello, my wonderful artists. I am finally getting around to making our cardinal on a tree branch video. So, first I wanted to tell you that this is what we're doing. However, the background behind your bird and your tree branch should be colored. You can either make more trees, more tree branches, other birds, whatever you want to kind of fill up the space. Some kids decided to add like a bird's nest over to the side. So this bird is called a cardinal, and he or she happened to be the state bird. The state of Ohio's bird is a cardinal. So just thought I'd let you guys know that little fact. So I'm going to set this guy to the side and we're going to get started. First things first, make sure your name is on the back of your paper with grade 2, and then whether you're in group A or group B, please circle whichever one applies to you. Sorry, I feel like this is a little out of focus today. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. All right, so turn your paper over after you've written your name, and then you guys are going to draw in pencil, but so that you can see it really easily, I'm going to draw with a marker. Always draw with a pencil first, that way if you mess up, you guys can erase. First things first, we start off with a tree branch. So you want the tree branch to kind of be a little bit wiggly and then kind of reach up. I start at one side and I don't go quite to the edge on the other, because then I kind of bring it back to make my tree branch. And you can have as many little branches coming off of the main one as you would like. I'm just going to kind of do that. Maybe just a little guy down here, just so it looks realistic. You don't want a super thick branch. Kind of keep it small. Birds are light in their body weight, so they don't need a big thick branch to land on. All right, next we're going to draw the cardinal. So you want him to kind of sit on the branch, and you don't want him to be super huge. So what we're going to do is draw an oval, and I kind of like to start just a little bit above my tree branch, and I kind of make my oval lean to the side so that it looks like his body is kind of leaning. Now, since you're using a pencil, you're going to be able to erase some lines that I'm not going to be able to erase since I'm using marker, but I'll show you again the finished one in a minute. Then you want to add let me see how to do this. Sorry. You want to add a curved line that kind of comes up and back. Those are for the feathers on the back of his head. Right there. I might have gone a little too far, but we're just going to make him have a bigger head. Hopefully if you guys can see this, you can see where like I can't erase that line. And then just kind of curve back. I guess I should have curved that way a little bit more. That's okay. And then I like to draw a circle with another circle around it. And then when you get to your marker, you're going to color this black. You don't have to do it with a pencil right now, but just so you know that that is black. And then you give him a little pupil in there. And then we got to give him a beak. And if you want him like chirping, you can leave his beak open. If you want it closed like this one, that's fine too. All right, next up is the wing, which is kind of like, this shape here is kind of like a raindrop shape, but it's upside down. So I like to start at the bottom where it's pointy and curve up and into my bird's body and then back down. You can practice with your finger a couple of times to make sure you've got the shape right before you start drawing. Remember, if I'm going too fast, just push the pause button and get caught up, and then you can come back to the video. All right, next up, we got to give this little guy some feet and legs. So I like to add his legs and then some little claws so he can hold on to that tree branch there. And I just kind of make him curve so that it looks like he's actually gripping onto that tree branch. And then we need to give him a tail. You can make his tail go behind the tree branch or in front of it. It's really up to you. Okay, in this drawing, I added some holly leaves since it was before Christmas. If you want to do that, those are holly berries, or like 3 little circles. And then I just made holly leaves kind of leaf-like. It wasn't really all that difficult. And you can add them to the ends of every tree branch if you want. You don't have to. Okay, you see the differences in my drawing with a marker and where you would mess up, because all of this line needs to be erased. I need to fix that line, and then this one between his body and his head should be erased. So that's why I suggest that you do this in pencil first. All right, next up, we're going to color this guy in, and we are going to use a red marker. I also did trace my pencil lines on this one with a black marker. That's a great idea. If you want to color it in first and then trace them, that's fine too. I like to use the kind of thicker side of my marker to get a nice thick line like that, rather than coloring with just the tip and getting a skinny line. It makes coloring big spaces in go very, very fast. And I like to trace around my lines and then color in the middle. I kind of like being neat about my coloring. I just like the way that looks. I know some of you are not quite the neatest coloring friends. All right, now I switched over to using the tiny little tip because it was a small area and I didn't want to get red in my tree branch. And I'm going to do the same thing down here on the ends of my feathers. And then, oh, I don't know what that was. Big black streak. Oh well. And then I'm going to come up here and use the tiny part. Tiny tip. Make sure I don't mess up his head, right? Go around his eye. And then color him in. So the last step in this is to color his beak and the tree branch. Tree branches, especially in the winter time, remember, are usually bare. We added the little holly leaves at the end just kind of as a Christmas decoration. Again, if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. Oh, I forgot his beak. His beak could be yellow, it could be orange. It's really up to you which color you want to make it. I'll make this guy yellow. You can see it kind of pulled some of my black marker in there and made it a little dirty looking, but that's okay. I don't mind. So now I'm going to carefully stay in those lines while I am coloring my tree branch. Once you're finished with that, you can do whatever you want on that background. You can color it with markers. You could color it with crayons, which I always like coloring backgrounds with crayons if I've done something like this in the foreground. It just kind of makes the bird and the tree branch pop off the page. All right. Then you would color in your berries red and your leaves green, and you are finished with your bird and cardinal. Please, please, please don't forget to erase some of those lines before you finish up. I hope you guys had a great time, and I can't wait to see what you do in your backgrounds. Have a great day.